Welcome along everybody, it's now round 5 of our Master Series, and boy do we have a tough week ahead of us this week. We're at Nurburgring. Firstly, we're in the sprint race, as you can see, in the RA272, and it is a torrential downpour that we're stuck in, so this is all wet weather racing. It is very tough to control the car. You have to be so early on the brakes and careful on the brakes, because if the car locks up at the back, you're going sideways straight away. And then after this race 1, we are going to the Nurburgring full course. Unfortunately, I won't be able to get a guide done for that one, because it's just far too long a track to get a guide for. So we'll get the guide for this race 1 out of the way and see how we get on. Very tricky. As you can see, we'll go into my view now. Although I have seen trucks do a couple of laps in this view, and it is absolutely epic, so please check out Trucks if you can. Trucks B Racing. And as ever, we're sponsored by LWR Design, who helps design our leagues, designs his own leagues, makes the liveries, does all sorts of good stuff for the team. Vroom Vroom Gaming, who streams his races. He's our promoter, our tables designer, although I'm doing the tables for this one this time. And D.90, who was a streamer, doesn't stream as much anymore, absolute legend, built the D. family, and DDR Racing, and they are all part of what we do, and myself included. WPR Hotlap, who's doing the lap guides for this series and for other series that's run by LWR Design, all part of our DMJ Sim Hub, which you can find on Facebook. And I hope you enjoyed this one. Here we go, let's get right into the lap. As you can see, it is absolutely chucking it down, so coming out the final corner, down to second, then back up to third. Very careful on exits, stay off the curbs if you can, although running out on this curb didn't seem too bad, so you can use that one. Rev the car up to 6th gear, now coming down to the first turn. I am braking just about here. As you can see, just getting on the brakes now, and I'm trying to be as light as possible on the brakes, because the car does get slidey, and be very careful of the pit lane exit line, because if you put the wheels on that, the car will get loose. So all the way down to first gear for turn 1, here we go. As you can see, feathering the brakes and the throttle, trying to keep the car stable, down to first gear, cut on, and then power out if you can as soon as you got the car straight. Now up to third, don't touch the curb here, try to keep it away from the curb. When you're getting the car straighter, get on the power, stay in third, then come down to first. Wide entry here, again you can cut onto this curb because you're going so slow, so that's fine. Up to second, and for the second apex you want to get round a bit better than that. I've done this as a custom race, so there is traffic in the way, but it is handy. For this one, the hairpin, we are braking just as we get to the bridge, as you can see here. Fuel on the brakes well before the 100. And you want to go down to first and then try to come out in second for this one. Wide entry again is not too bad around here. Out in second, car is still getting slidey on me. As you can see, got no traction control on, so it makes it a bit tougher. This one, stay in third. Try to stay off the curb again. When you get the car straight, up to fourth. And then coast through here in fourth around about 60 odd miles an hour. And then when you get a car straight, you can really get on the power early, and you can use this curb. Now coming down the hill here, you want to rev up, but you want to lift just before you get to the apex here. You do not want to touch this curb because it will throw the car out. So here we go round the outside here. Cost me a little bit of time, but that's okay. And coming up to the hairpin, we are braking a little bit further on. Yeah, we're just coming to brake just after the 150. And you're going to go down to second, stay in second, and try to coast most of this. Be very careful of getting on the power too early. Here we go. Late apex, missed that braking a little bit, but that's okay. Out in second, car wants to get squirrely. Up to third. Use some of the curb if you need to. Staying in third, cutting in, don't touch the curb here, but you can touch the curb on the run out here. This curb's fine to use. And that is a very tricky lap of Nurburg sprint. So we'll go out of car. Let's see, shall we use this view's fine. And do it again. Superb little car, but still so hard to drive. There's the change. Try to get off of that to pit exit line, sorry. Down to first, cut onto the corner, get on the power when you know you're safe. Up to second, up to third. Nice and wide, keep away from that curb. It is lethal as you're turning so much. Down here, back down to first. Then, usually if there wasn't a car in the way, I'd be on that curb and I'd be going through there a little bit faster, but that's okay. Here we are, just before we get to the bridge, we're on the brakes. Try braking a straight line. Get down over the dip and then into second. As you can see, the car's just trying to get away because you're going downhill. Very hard to control. It's going to make for a really interesting race, a really tough race. It's going to be a race of attrition because you'll be wanting to fight against who you're up against. But then you've got to remember that the car's not going to like it. So coming down here, I caught this car at the wrong time. It's okay, I had to lift off a little bit. So that cost me probably half a tenth. So you're looking at about a 150 lap for around here. And I've definitely lost time there. So getting off the curb, get on the power. And this curb's okay to use as long as you're careful under braking. Keep in third. Don't touch this curb. So much steering lock, it will hurt the car. And across the line. And that's part 1 of round 5. I hope you enjoyed that. It is very, very tricky this week. And I hope you tune in on Vroom Vroom Gaming for our race because it's going to be an absolute belter. See you then. Bye now.